This is Nathan with the Independence Money Show and the famous Economic Ninja.
That's right. How are you doing?
Where are we at?
We're in Miami, baby.
Market Disruptors Conference.
Yes, we are.
I got a question for you.
Do it.
I have an economics degree, and you run circles around me on being able to explain these concepts to people. I understand you don't, right?
No, absolutely not. I
So-
barely made it through high school.
How do you learn all this? How do you self-teach yourself? I think the viewers want to know that.
Well, it's a great question. I started with the Rich Dad Poor Dad book from Robert Kiyosaki. Started buying real estate like it was going out of style, and then that literally changed everything. And then it was just book after book, consuming as much content. And that was before the days of YouTube. Then I figured out what YouTube was, and I just lost my mind, just taking in so much content. Matter of fact, the cell phone carrier, I was literally using about, 40 to 50 gigs a month just on all YouTube. They would look at my stuff and go, this is all YouTube. And this wasn't like funny videos of cats. It was like how to grow wealth. And that's what it was just going to YouTube and finding great people like yourself that are teaching people how to get out of taxation legally, right? A lot of people don't want to tell you about how to do it illegally, but that's what it is. It's all about that.
Self-learning. That's the answer then, huh?
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool to come around to people, especially people that know me growing up, that I barely made it through high school, and they have no clue that you could gain a certain amount of wealth and they have no concept, because most people put their pedigree or their actual degree ahead of real knowledge and real learning. It's like they already got the license and I should know everything. But in all reality, most people that have licenses or college degrees couldn't even find their way out of their own checkbook. They couldn't even balance their own checkbook.
Yeah, I mean, I could roger that. I mean, I got an economics degree, but I would say that's not the foundation of my education. In fact, I mean, the certified tax specialty designation I have is not a license. It was voluntary education that I enrolled in to learn. But I think entrepreneurship is the best teacher. So I would say one of the answers to my question is start a business, start a side hustle. You're going to learn so much.
Well, and ironically, your niche is so specialized, most people don't even know you exist. They go to CPAs, they think CPAs are so much greater than enrolled agents, but they're pretty much a historian. They like to talk about what's ever in the past, and then you're talking about the future. You're a planner, right? And that goes, in lockstep, for lack of better terms, with entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurs are always having to stay up with the trends, or actually stay ahead of trends.
Well, I think entrepreneurs are also visionaries. Like, we're focused on what's about to happen, what's going to happen, what's coming around the bend, and I just think entrepreneurship is like the final frontier. It's the last adventure that we have.
Let me flip this on you. What do you think's coming?
Can you be more specific?
Yeah, well, it's okay. So you have a YouTube channel that you're talking about tax savings, getting out of the thievery that the government's doing, right? Well, right now we have quite an amazing time in history where there's never been a complete shutdown of the economy, right? There's all these constraints with the supply chain and things. What do you think's coming next in our in the economics world, in let's just say the United States?
I mean, it's a known fact, a mathematical statistic, that when taxes are below 30% of your income, people stop tax planning. When taxes go above that, revenue for the government actually goes down because people start tax planning.
Yeah, not only tax planning, but I've seen a lot of people, they're afraid, they don't understand how tax brackets work. So they go, oh, I'm going to be in the next tax bracket, so I'm not going to take that overtime shift. I'm like, are you nuts? That's just a couple extra percent for that, any dollar over that bracket, but people don't understand that. So you would not only have that, they start tax planning out of fear for more taxation, but they also scale back the amount of work they're willing to do because in fear of they're just spending more money in taxes. So what is that going to do? Where is that going to lead us as an economy?
Well, I always say, if you feed the dragon, does the dragon ever get full? No, it just gets to be a bigger dragon with a bigger appetite. The only way for this to be solved is for people to starve the dragon by doing legal strategies to pay less taxes. Because as the government's growing, if we can shrink their tax revenue through additional planning, they're not going to have enough money to run their show. They're going to have to scale back. I would love to see a smaller government someday.
Well, you know what's funny too? I'm sorry, I just want to rock out. But you know what's funny is that most people don't realize that wealthy people spend more time with their tax advisory groups than anyone else in their world, right, of making money. And it's because that is the easiest thing to add to your yearly revenue is saving money in taxes. And we're talking 10, 20, sometimes even 30% of your money that would go to the government is still in your hands. That is insane. Actually, In a lot of cases, like me in California, between state and Fed, I could be at 50%, 50 cents on the dollar. So if I tax plan right, literally 50 cents on the dollar goes back into my pocket.
Yeah, and everybody talks about in investments what expenses are in the investment, what advisory fees. Hands down, taxes is the biggest expense. Whether you're doing crypto, metal, real estate, whatever, taxes are the biggest expense, and that's why it's so important to have a tax strategy.
I agree. And with that being said, we've already talked about you working on a strategy for one of my companies in this next year to be able to legally shelter a large part of my profits for my company legally. These are legal routes so that I don't have to pay that much in tax.
My dad always said America is great because you don't have to cheat on the tax code. They give you the rules that you need to learn just to play by to legally save money on taxes. There's no reason to do anything illegal.
Let me add some of that. Most people don't realize that the U.S. tax code was built to encourage entrepreneurs because they knew very few people are the kind to actually put out their hard work, their money at risk to make a better life for themselves, which in turns, as they're successful, they're employing people, they're hiring other companies for work, they're growing the economy. Well, the tax code's built in a way to encourage you to do that, even though the founders of that tax code knew that only a few people would do it. Not only that, the tax code's always evolving too. That's why you need professionals like yourself to constantly be on top of that. You know, CPAs and bookkeepers and enrolled agents, they don't necessarily stay on top of the laws other than, what box they have to fill out in whatever tax form. You know what I mean? They're not talking about the actual laws. They're keeping track of their data keeping, their historical record keeping.
And that's really the difference between us and accountants. And we do need accountants. We have accountants. We got really smart ones. But a lot of times they don't really learn the rules until the software they use to file tax returns updates at the end of the year. What you and I do, and I learned so much from you, is we're looking at what's coming and pre-planning it. And my busy time, Amanda and I's busy time, is here to December 31 because that's when that record keeping stops and the accountants take over. So you got to be proactive, continue to learn, seek out education. I mean, that's an investment in and of itself. This stuff costs money for us to go to.
Oh yeah.
And we do it for two reasons. One, to learn, and the other,
to thrive and survive. Well, survive and thrive. It's not even survive. It's just to blow up, to be more successful.
the other is to teach the viewers.
I didn't get it.
Because he's got a heart of gold, and that's why I know this guy, and he's got a heart of gold, and that's why he does it, is because he wants to help Main Street America. Is that fair?
Yeah, you didn't tell me ahead of time. I'm just joking, man.
Hey, man, I'm having to learn how to do impromptu like, Economic Ninja does.
Like I want to start talking about taxes, and this is just a little side clip. This could be after the outro or whatever, if you guys do one. You start thinking about just tax strategies, like when you talk about the first of the year, a lot of people have to have all their decisions made in the first of the year, but when you start multi-corporate tax planning, and you have one corporation that ends on December 31st, you have another one that ends in a different time of the year, you can move money between corporations legally to have insane tax strategies. So those are the kind of things I think about in my head.
What I think is how we could get one of those inside of a tax strategy, because that would be pretty bombed out. It could be like the ninja boat, right?
Dude, ninja boat would be sweet. Be black and have samurai swords shooting out of it.
All right, you heard it here first. Someday there's going to be a ninja boat. We'll see when that happens. Until next time, Independence Money Show, Economic Ninja at Market Disruptors Miami. Signing off.